Let's expand on this now and get some insight. Political analyst Sandile Swana joining us. A very good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. South Africa's 5th president will be sworn in the ceremony come tomorrow. In fact, as you and I speak, heads of states and government officials are arriving. King Mswati from Eswatini having landed a short while ago. It's been a tough road leading up to this inauguration, hasn't it?
Yes, it has been a very, very tough road, with some thinking that they could even stop the first sitting of Parliament, challenging the elections and so on and so forth. So yes, it's rough, and it is still rough, as you can see that even the GNU itself is not yet bedded down.
The PAC has had a change of heart, hopping on and joining the Government of National Unity. This is the very same party which was part of a group of parties last week which expressed their opposition to the unity government, placing their lot under the banner of the Progressive Caucus. How should we interpret this last-minute move?
This last-minute move, I think that maybe we need to say this, that the people who are in that Progressive Caucus or who are not in the GNU are also playing a positive role for the citizens to assist in the smooth running of both the executive and parliament by providing oversight duties that are stated in our constitution. So the PAC is taking on different and maybe expanded duties by wanting perhaps to join the government and also to continue participating in parliament.
The PAC
they say that they are going. They say that they are going to provide a balancing view, because by and large, the GNU is the right-wing entity.
We also heard the PAC saying that their participation is crucial because they want to bring to the forefront the issue of restoration of the land, and they want it to be center stage. It's interesting that this is said because we're all very much aware of exactly how fragile this formation is, more so looking at the inclusion and the role of the DA.
Yes, I think, for instance, with the parts that they said they want to do, for instance, to look into the question of land redistribution, which when I read some of the things that the DA says it wants to prioritize to go and issue title deeds in the villages, quite clearly the DA wants to misdirect the land redistribution question. The ANC has neutralized that question since 1999. At the same time, when you talk about the fragility of the GNU, it is clear that we don't know who is properly authorized to admit people into this GNU. Apparently, there are already complaints about it.
The other thing, perhaps we will expand and go deeper into the question as we try and make sense of the composition of the GNU. We heard the DA's Helen Zille speaking to my colleague Clement Manyatela a short while ago, but perhaps let's listen to what she had to say, and then we'll speak a little bit about the composition and the understanding on the percentage breakdown.
Without the Democratic Alliance, the ANC can't reach 60% of the seats in the National Assembly occupied by the Government of National Unity parties. It's complex, but you are right.
And if the ANC then brings in parties like the IFP and the Good Party and the PA and the PAC, who have now signed this document as well, do they reach that 60%?
No, let me say this, that the ANC can't bring people in that they feel like bringing in. This is another thing that Fikile doesn't seem to understand, because it says that in keeping with the spirit of an inclusive GNU, it is agreed that the composition shall be discussed and agreed amongst the existing parties whenever new parties decide to be part of the GNU. Now, agreed means by sufficient consensus. So it's not the ANC that gets to invite everybody, as Fikile seems to think. He keeps on actually making public statements about this one's joined and that one's joined, but he must read clause 24 of the document that he signed.
Hold on. So are you saying to me that even when the PA decides to join, the ANC has had to consult you and the other parties in the Government of National Unity before accepting any other party to come and join and sign that document?
Absolutely. There are three founding members of this. It is ourselves, it is the ANC, and it is the IFP. And clause 24 says, in keeping with the spirit of an inclusive GNU, it is agreed that the composition shall be discussed and agreed amongst the existing parties whenever new parties desire to be part of the Government of National Unity. That's what it says in clause 24.
So were you consulted about the PA or the PAC?
We were consulted about the PAC, but not the PA. The PAC was raised in the negotiations. The PAC, Good, and the UDM were raised during the negotiations, but definitely not the PA. But, it's not about the PA per se, it's about the principle of this issue. They haven't consulted us, and the ANC must realize that they don't take all the decisions anymore. They didn't win the election.
Quite a hard reality, isn't it? The ANC must know that they don't make the decisions alone anymore. They didn't win the decisions. And of course, here bringing to under the spotlight the reality that an agreement has been assigned, and there are three founding members, the ANC, the IFP, and the DA. And it seems that there may be some sort of misinterpretation or misunderstanding on how exactly decisions are made with this formation. We're talking here about decisions, not policy per se, but decisions on who else gets to join. And of course, it begs the question on what will happen should decisions need to be made around policy.
Let me just point out, and I've written about this in public, I've spoken about it repeatedly. The collapse of the first GNU in 1996, June 1996, when de Klerk decided to walk away, was because, in his judgment, the ANC was making decisions without consulting the National Party. That trend, that idea and that practice is starting to manifest itself now. There are obviously traditions and things that the ANC might see itself as a senior partner in this and continue to make decisions in that general spirit of seniority. But the DA, with half of the votes that the ANC has, basically wants to be able to audit and veto certain decisions. In fact, all decisions that are going to be made.
So what could the ripple effect be here? I mean, it's almost like history is repeating itself, but we're just only speaking on grassroots level now. None of the intricate details and breakdowns have not come to the fore yet.
Yes, so this is not trivial. I mean, that is why Helen Zille is so energetic. Maybe if I were to be blunt about this, it is not so much that the ANC does not have a choice. If the DA does not toe the line, the ANC can still continue fishing in the pond of the Progressive Caucus and get its 50+1 votes and continue with life. So the DA is not the only option that the ANC has.
Okay, that's interesting to know, more so as we look at perhaps on a longer term what impact this setup could have for the DA's support base. There's been suggestions that the GNU is going to see the DA strength being diluted as an opposition party. What are your thoughts around the longer term impact should the DA remain in this GNU, and what it'll mean for its own development?
My judgment is that the support base of the DA is secure. the support base of the DA, by and large, and you will see that the white voters have got the highest voter participation rate. Therefore, the voters of the DA and the support base of the DA is relatively secure, and it competes with the Freedom Front Plus, and I think it is starting to be able to beat the Freedom Front Plus. The people who are going to have a problem with maintaining their voters for the time being will be the ANC in the main. I suspect the IFP to a degree may maintain to whatever extent their voters, but that is going to be tested in the coming weeks in by-elections and other things. But the DA is secure, not the other parties.
Very well. Thank you so much for weighing in on this discussion there. Political analyst Sandile Swana giving his take on the formation of the GNU.